Just one heat to go in the partypoker.com European Open, and then we'll know the six-player lineup at the final table. They're all chasing a share of the $360,000 prize money, and they're playing No Limit Texas Hold'em. Now in No Limit Texas Hold'em, play begins with each player receiving 2 cards face down from the dealer. Players must then make a betting decision solely based on the value of those 2 cards alone. There's a total of 4 betting rounds during which the flop, turn and river, which are community cards, come out onto the table. Now the flop is 3 cards, the turn and river 1 card each. And at the end of the hand, the players must make the best 5-card poker hand out of the 7 cards available to take the pot. Now remember, it is no limit betting, so players can bet up to all of their chips at any time during their hand. Now last night in Heat 5, American Michael Shaw had the biggest win of his life, and he's only here to gain experience. Also into the final, Barry Hearn, the event promoter, playing as a professional. Arthur Manfredi, an internet qualifier from Canada. As is Justin O'Shaughnessy of England. And Jason Gray over from Australia. 1 seat to fill at the final table. Will it be a pro like Surinder Sunar or Bill Glazes putting their reputations on the line?
Online you can't feel the person, you can't look in their eyes, you can't see their mannerisms.
I got into it probably about 3 years ago, I guess I started playing, and it's just so much easier than going somewhere, driving, sitting in some smoke-filled room somewhere. It's just easier, you know, turn the computer on, you're right there playing.
Most of my experience has been online, so I'm a few butterflies about playing in person, but I think I can handle it.
There's an element of odds in it, I think, but I think people watching and, you know, reading people is a bit more important really than knowing statistics and, you know, odds and outs and things.
I mean, I've heard from some of the guys that they've never played live before, so, and when I do play online, I play 6-way, normally at the 6-way max tables, so, you know, hopefully that'll come into play as well.
It's one of my favourite poker games. You know, it's where you can move all in and put pressure on the players.
This is the trophy that goes with the winner's check. Time to join Donica O'Day and the voice of poker, Jesse May.
Our first player this evening, now living in Miami, Florida, but he's been all around the country as a professional poker player for the better part of 10 years. The impressive results around the globe. This is Billy the Wiz Glazes. Also from America, seat number 5 this evening, from Chicago, Illinois. He's in sales but plays quite a bit of poker, live and online, Scott Fidlow. Seat number 4 from Corydon, Indiana. He's played in Tunica, Louisville, and plenty of online poker. He's a home builder, Dan Smith. From Battersea in the London area. They call him Bad Beat, but he prefers to give them out rather than take them. Known far and wide as a sports gambler and pro poker player, this is Neil Channing. High profile in Europe. He's won just about anything, including the recent WPT event in Paris, which won him nearly $1 million. From the Midlands, top poker player Surinder Sunar. And our final player in seat number 1 from Chandler, Arizona. He's a civil engineer originally from Oregon. This is Paul Inwards. Six players tonight, and we'll be playing down to 1, of course. So there's 1 seat left at the final table, where first prize is $150,000. Tournament referee,
not directly, no.
Thomas Kremser from the International Poker Federation now joins the table to explain the rules.
Thank you.
We are ready to start. The first round we're going to have small blind 1,000, big blind 2,000.
And I'm lucky to be joined this evening by one of the top poker players in all of Europe. Professional gambler for nearly all his life and winner of the recent Poker Million, Donnacha O'Day. Donnacha, you know at least one of these players very well.
Oh yes, I played with Surinder most of my life, I guess, and I know Bill Gaze quite well from playing in America. You know, obviously these two would be the favourites for this heat, and obviously they'll realise that the other qualifiers so far have been internet players, so they'll know that if one of them wins this, they'll be pretty hot favourite for the final. So there's a lot at stake here for them.
Yeah, I mean, 5 guys already in the final, and the only pro, of course, Barry Hearn. But with first round action here, Neil Channing, King 8 under the gun, and for 2,000 he doesn't want to play. There's Dan Smith with the Ace 8, and he's come right out calling with it. You played with some of these internet players the other day, and so you've played a lot of this format tournament with them. What do you think of their game? How can they win?
Well, in my heat, they got involved straight from the word go. You know, they defended a lot of hands, and you know, but some of the other heats maybe they were quite passive. You know, but it sounds like, you know, most of these guys are sort of feeling quite confident about playing here. You know, and.
Well, Dan Smith came right out playing the first hand, and now he's called a Surinder Sunar raise from the big blind for 6,000. Surinder, of course, King Queen suited. Dan Smith Ace 8. Smith is leading, but Surinder's got control here, doesn't he?
Well, he does. Surinder will be first to speak after the flop, and you know, if he flops a hand, he quite often likes to check it. So
they've both flopped a pair here, but Surinder's pair is the queens. And could he's going to have trouble getting off this hand, or?
He'll probably make a small bet just to test the situation, and but you know, if he gets raised, he'll be through with it. I think.
Surinder fiddling around, and finally decides to bet 8,000 into the pot. Dan Smith now, who's got the best hand, but is he going to be worried about his kicker, or?
Yeah, I'm sure he is. You know, obviously if Surinder has an ace and he's raised, he's going to have a higher kicker. But and the fact that he's delaying now is going to put more pressure on him on 4th Street. I mean, I think he should have called more quickly, and then if Surinder went again, you know, he could probably pass. But he's showing his own weakness here, I think, at the moment.
Dan Smith has called. He's got the best hand, but doesn't know it. But that'll change things, Donnacha. Aces and 8s, the dead man's hand, and Surinder could be in big trouble here.
I think Surinder will check here for sure. He does a lot of checking and calling and checking and raising. So, you know, I think he's playing for time here to try and get a free card, but I don't think he's going to get one.
Not with the 8 coming down. Action is on Surinder. He can bet or check, and now he grabs that stack of reds. They're 5,000 each. That, as you said, is to intimidate his opponent, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I would want to bet that he's going to check here. But wow.
12,000.